Hello there, and welcome to PlayStation Grenade. Marvel Spider-Man is shaping up to battle God of War for the title of greatest first-party game of the year. On September the 7th, Spidey will be unleashed upon the world, and the hype machine is now in full motion. Recently, a press event gave us access to 2 hours of the game, and here's 15 details we've had confirmed about Spider-Man on PS4. From the moment you switch on your PS4 and load up Marvel Spider-Man, you'll know the game has been created with love and respect for Spider-Man's history. Something as subtle as choosing your difficulty level of easy, normal or hard is given a nod to the Spideyverse, with friendly replacing easy, amazing trading places with normal, and spectacular swapping the top spot for hardest difficulty. I know it's not mind-blowing, but it salutes Spider-Man's comic book history, and other references are strewn across the entire story and open world. So keep a lookout for more obscure references, and we'll put together an Easter egg video later.
How is this happening?
What's wrong, Willie? You seem angry.
I will destroy you!
The story itself follows Spider-Man like you'd expect, but it's just as much about Peter Parker as his alter ego.
Peter Parker, how the hell are you?
Here's the twist. In this unique timeline, Peter isn't a photojournalist for the Daily Bugle. He's a scientist. Well, a budding scientist anyway. He's still relatively young and only just making his own steps into the world as an adult. He's been Spider-Man for years now, so we don't have to put up with another origin story. In the game, we'll take control of Peter at work in sort of minigame-esque scientist chores, completing lab tests, but more importantly, the work he does here impacts the suits and the gadgets he uses when wearing spandex and swooping across the open world. Peter is joined by a few familiar faces such as Aunt May, MJ and Miles Morales, and now's a great time to reiterate, this is a whole new universe for the webhead. Not only has Peter's occupation been slightly realigned, so has Mary Jane's. We won't find her on Broadway or even running a nightclub. In this world, MJ is the up-and-coming journalist looking for a huge story to break. Think of her in the same way you would Lois Lane in Superman or April O'Neil in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. MJ will get her story any way she can, and that's why we will be playing as Mary Jane during the game. She'll have her own objectives, her own gameplay style, her own mechanics. From what we've seen so far, MJ is like a stealthy sleuth looking for clues to uncover. It's kind of like Batman's detective skill crossed with Heavy Rain's searching for items and intel. It's a far cry from being Spider-Man, but adds an anxious nervousness to proceedings which should break up the story well.
How do I call you? I mean, you have like a cell phone in your pockets or something?
Even Miles Morales is here in the same universe as Peter, but it isn't due to time travel or hopping from one dimension to another or a random video game crossover. In this game, he's legit. He was born and raised in New York. There's no smoke and mirrors here. So we'll get to see how those two characters would work together. Even though this is a brand spanking new timeline and story, there will be a truckload of nods to previous Spider-Man adventures from other Spider-Verses and other shenanigans Peter got up to during his high school Spider-Man days. An example of this is inside one of the backpacks scattered around New York. If you find one of Peter's old high school rucksacks, inside one of them will be a vial of sand in reference to the time he defeated the Sandman. Another nod comes in the shape of a blueprint found early on in the game called Devil's Breath, which is in reference to Mr. Negative's first appearance in the comic books, in which he attempted to kill off all his opposition by using a bioweapon, and you've guessed it, it was called Devil's Breath.
Welcome to the party, just in time for the fireworks.
Speaking of enemies, so far we've seen about a dozen criminals to look out for in the game. I'll link a video breaking down 9 of them and their origins too. I think it's worth a watch to understand why they are like they are and why they do what they do. They include Electro, Vulture, Rhino, Black Cat, Taskmaster, Kingpin, Scorpion, Mr. Negative, and there's another one, and I can't remember, and the Shocker, there we go. But since then we've all seen Silver Sable, and the moment Peter says this in the E3 trailer,
Wait, you?
we all think he's talking about Dr. Octavius, but we can't be certain until Sony confirms things for all of us. To fight these criminals, we need powers, which are housed in our Spidey suit. Again, I have yet another video breaking down 7 confirmed Spider-Man suits and their origins in the upcoming game, so I won't cover old ground here, but I will say that each suit has a special characteristic which can be transferred between any suits you have unlocked. For example, the Noir suit prevents enemies from calling in backup, playing into a more stealthy playthrough. whereas the Spider Armor Mark II, which has just revealed, has the ability to become bulletproof. Of course, the original suit is here too, with a cool ripped version like in the Amazing Spider-Man game or the movie version of Spider-Man 3. So far we've seen 25 suit slots in the game, but I'm hopeful there's a few more to uncover. So how the heck do we upgrade and unlock our suits? Well, simples. Everything is unlocked by playing the game. Through the story and open world, Peter will use collectibles to craft suits should he be at a high enough level. There is a way to skip this process with 3 of the suits. The Velocity suit, the Iron Spider and the Spider Punk outfit can all be unlocked from day 1 by pre-ordering the game. But don't worry if you don't want to do that, you can grind it out and earn them for yourself. At present, we know of 23 suit mods to uncover. These can be used to customize your loadouts using 3 slots. To do this, tokens must be earned during missions, but there are different types. One of the tokens we've seen are crime tokens, which are earned via listening into police scanners and taking down perps who are currently committing crimes. And it's been confirmed that those types of crimes will escalate as the story unfolds. Maybe this could be a way to bring in Herman.
Oops, guess we're stuck in here for a while. Want to play 20 questions? No? How about we thumb one? Okay, face punch it is.
Other tokens include research tokens, which are unlocked by completing puzzles for Harry Osborn. Base tokens are for defeating swarms of enemies, and there's also landmark tokens, which I'll talk about very soon. Oh, and there's more. Backpack tokens are awarded for finding the world's collectibles. These come in the shape of Peter Parker's backpacks, which he stuck to walls before going to fight crime. After a few years of forgetting where the heck they are, it's time to locate them all. These backpacks are filled with Easter eggs and nods to Spider-Man's past hidden inside. You're definitely going to want to find them all, but let's leave that for another time. And there's one more token type, a challenge token, which is earned for completing challenges in the open world, like mini events such as defusing a bomb left there by the Taskmaster. On top of this customization is a skill tree with 3 distinct areas of interest: Webslinger, Innovator, and Defender. The Defender is designed to improve combat, whereas the Webslinger is here to improve traversal and movement, and my personal favourite, the Innovator class, which is all about using gadgets. The gadgets range from the regular web shooters, which can be upgraded to shoot more bolts or recharge quicker. Another gadget replaces those shooters with impact webbing, which has the force of 5 regular shooter webs. If that's not your thing, then what about the Spider Drone, which seeks out enemies and helps you out in battle? Next we have a trip mine, which could be used to prevent enemies from flanking you. When used, the trip mine completely incapacitates enemies, allowing you to concentrate on the ones right in front of you. Other gadgets include a concussive blast, which is like a sonic pulse to cause the enemy to fly in multiple directions. They're the only ones I've seen so far, but there are sure to be many, many more. Have you played one of Rocksteady's Batman games? I'm pretty sure you have, and if yes, you'll already know the basis of Spidey's combat and the fundamentals under your belt, but what you may not realise is the plethora of additional skills Peter has to offer. The gadgets we've looked at are awesome, but the environmental interactions are second to none. Ripping a car door off before slapping it down on a criminal's head is so damn satisfying. The environment is your playground with tons of unique attacks available. And if you can't see anything to use right away, then go back to your web shooters and mix up straight punching people in the face with a bit of Peter Parkour. Sorry, terrible joke. The experimentation in combat keeps the game from feeling stale. Every fight is different if you choose it to be, and you'll be tested as new enemies join the battle, which have different strengths and weaknesses. Fighting a foe with a shield requires a different tactic to one wielding a light machine gun. This is getting a little too technical, so let's scale it back a bit. Spider-Man on PS4 offers a truly open world. I'm sure you've encountered many games which lock areas of the world away until your character is skilled enough to unlock them. Marvel's Spider-Man will have the entirety of New York available to you as soon as the first mission concludes. The city is broken into 8 districts with their own theme and distinct enemy types and gangs to fight, but more importantly, let the sightseeing commence. Segue, remember earlier when I was talking about tokens? Well, these can be collected in side missions and quests. My favourite is taking photos of iconic venues around New York, such as Madison Square Garden, Fisk Tower, and maybe you Daredevil fans can locate Nelson and Murdoch's attorneys at law. Of course, the first place we're all going to locate is Avengers Tower, am I right? Or maybe you're the kind of person who goes to the game's highest point to take in the vista and plummet to almost certain death. Whatever floats your boat, the world is your oyster. Marvel's Spider-Man comes to PS4 on September the 7th worldwide. It'll eat up 45 gig of space on your hard drive, and future DLC is already in the works. The first will be centered around Black Cat and her relationship with Peter. This game is looking awe-inspiring and now within touching distance. I'll be playing the game here on the channel, so if you don't own a PS4, let's experience it together. I'm Adam from PlayStation Grenade. It's been a pleasure. I'll see you next time.